Seth, I'm curious about in higher education. You may not need to go through an FBI background check to work in higher education. I found, at least in my experience, I did need to take a drug test before I could work on a particular .edu project. Are there other areas that make, or other specifics that make ramping up a new team member onto uh, a .edu project more cumbersome than it would be if they were ramping up onto a different sort of project?
It goes to something about what kind of level of privacy the data needs. If it's something like a brochureware site, then probably anyone can work on that. We might be dealing with some information about students. Maybe like a lived name versus a given name, and some of that might not seem like it's very sensitive, but in cases it is, and so we might not want everyone to have visibility into that data. Going all the way up into like financial data and social security numbers, things like that. It's like, so you're compartmentalizing data and only giving access to the people who really need it and controlling access that way. But I have seen cases where people have done things, with no malicious intent, that end up exposing that kind of data. For example, people love web forms, and it might seem like we want to make this easier for people to send us information, and so we're just going to create a web form that asks for your, student name and your student ID number and your address on campus or something like that. And there are rules about how long we can retain that data, what happens if someone requests that we remove it. And those things add to the complexity of it, and they affect that web form that maybe didn't seem like it was really consequential at all.